Welcome ladies and gentlemen who play FGO. My name is Smooth and I will be showcasing the things that will most likely come with Shinjuku's release, dubbed Pre-Shinjuku. Of course this will be spoiler free, well story spoiler free, but for character spoils, you should probably not want to look. First, starting with Epic of Remnant chapters in general. Epic of Remnant chapters will have an unknown foundation value at the top for those who are keen about the divergence between the singularity and pan-human history in general. Also, servants that come with the EOR chapters will have their identities concealed from you. To have their identities revealed to you, you must go through and beat the Epic of the Remnant chapters as you go along. As you go along, their names will be revealed within the chapters. Moving on to the general outline of Singularity Subspecies 1, Malignant Quarantine Demonic Realm, Shinjuku Gaiden. It will be set in 1999 AD, and as you already know, Shinjuku is located in Japan, and for a fun fact actually, Shinjuku is one of the biggest entertainment, business, and shopping industries residing within Shinjuku Station. Disclaimer before I go on ahead, for those who don't want to be spoiled on who reoccurs within Shinjuku, skip like 50 seconds ahead or something. Moving on. If you had seen the trailer, which I will link in the description of this video, there will be 4 new servants coming along with Shinjuku and some reoccurring characters from the past like Artaria Alter, John the Ark, Edmond Dantes, and Holmes-san. Shinjuku will have a total of 18 chapters and 10 free quests along with the hidden free quest. Well, you can just make that 11 I guess. Also, Shinjuku will have a bond level bonus that will benefit servants with an evil alignment. Upon Shinjuku completion, a certain servant will be unlocked for summoning as opposed to us back in part 1 of FGO stories, having a free 3-star servant, but for that is no longer within 1.5 specifically, and moving on of FGO story. Moving on to the prologue of the story. When you untangle all of history, something massive must fall by the wayside. A scenario penned by discarded madness, half-forgotten myths from the turning of the century. This pseudo singularity is a murder case of unprecedented scale. The perfect crime is set in motion. Dance through the descendant streets, you phantoms. Also, a new material will be added within the game and along with Shinjuku's release, which is the magical cerebrospinal fluids, or in short, honestly, just fluids. Singularity Subspecies 1 Malignant Quarantine Demonic Realm Shinjuku Gaiden will be set to maintenance on February 24, 2019 at 18 o'clock PST. Moving on to the character section, which involves me going over the new servants and how to generally use them as opposed to any other NA YouTuber going super duper 900 IQ analytical on them. But first off, let's introduce the 4 new servants that will be added to the game, which really 3 out of the 4 servants are just mainly 4-star servants. And they are Emiya Alter, Assassin of Shinjuku, and Avenger of Shinjuku. And they will be added within the permanent story summoning pool, and they'll be story locked. Well, not really, but Emiya Alter is going to be story locked as opposed to the rest of them. They'll just be there, just ready to spook ya. And the 5-star servant, which is going to be Archer of Shinjuku, is going to be a very limited servant and will be on radar for the entirety of Shinjuku's release and can be obtained even if you haven't started Shinjuku, and that goes, well, that includes really Emiya Alter, not really Emiya Alter because he's gonna come later, Assassin of Shinjuku and Avenger of Shinjuku. And now let's just move on into just talking about the servants and how to use them in general, starting with the 4 stars. Yay! Emiya Alter, or Demia in short, is an archetype NP type servant with a QQAAB deck. His first skill raises his defense and further boosts his defense with damage cut. His second skill is the same that goes throughout every Emiya variation at this point, with an all cards type boost. And lastly, his last skill raises his attack up very heavily actually, which is kind of impressive. And if you're looking for a skill order, you can go with 1, 2, 3 for tank for the tank side, and 3, 2, 1 for more damage output. Some C's I do recommend is Another Ending or Formalcraft to emphasize on his arts, Halloween Petite Devil or Divine Banquet for MP gain and faster MPs actually, Black Grail and Halloween Princess for MP damage, and Before Awakening for the maximize on his general output that goes along with his deck. Assassin of Shinjuku is a quick MP type servant with a QQQAB deck. His first skill raises his critical star absorption and MP gain. Second skill raises his critical star generation, and later in 2020 will add an additional quick up and critical damage. His third skill is critical star absorption down while gaining stars. The skill order is 2, 1, 3, which is quite interesting actually. Some C's could be Halloween Princess and Black Grail for MP damage, 230 for more crits. Knights of the Marines, Gondar, Holy Knight Sign, and Heaven's Appeal are good for increasing his quicks. Avenger of Shinjuku is an arts MP type servant with a QQAAB deck, similar to Amiya Alter's deck. First skill raises his critical absorption and defense, second increases his attack, and third skill reduces an enemy's death resistance, attack, and removes their buffs. Skill order shall be 2, 1, 3. Some C's for him are Kaliad Sapphire and Another Ending for arts buff, and general MP damage buffs like Heaven's Appeal and Black Grail. Lastly, we have Archer of Shinjuku or Shinjuku Oji-san, and he is a Buster type MP servant with a QAAAB deck. First skill ups critical absorption and applies Ignore Invincibility. Second is charging his MP and raising his MP damage with a 10 crit star Demir upon use. And lastly, increasing his party's attack and further increasing it if party members have an evil alignment to them. Skill order being 2, 3, 1. C's beneficial to him are First Sunrise, Joint Recital, Verdant Sound of Destruction, and Victor of the Moon for Buster Up, and Black Grail or Halloween Princess for MP damage. On to game mechanics or miscellaneous updates that come along with Shinjuku's release. Starting off with master level will be capped now to 140. OSTs or BGMs can be replayed by paying a certain amount of materials to unlock. And lastly, with the addition of break bar gauge system or multi-layer HP system that will be added within the story and is already within the game that came along with the memorial quest. Certain things about, the break bars. Break bars will be applied onto certain enemies within the game, like mini bosses or bosses in general. After breaking a break bar, the enemy servant will either may or may not apply special skills onto them. Instead of it being overkill, when breaking bars, it will be overgauge, and you can get more stars from it as well. Extra damage while overgauging the enemy will never carry on to the next HP layer.